Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. How you doing? I hope you guys are having a great week so far. Happy Friday. So, in today's video, I wanted to attack a few main points, but the main topic is Gen Z does not want to have children. We don't even want to get married, okay? Because me, as an older Gen Z myself, I am staying away from marriage as much as possible. I know I don't want kids, but let's really try our best to break down some of the main reasons that Gen Z don't want to have children. We're going to attack the economy, right? Which is one of my main reasons as to why I don't want children. We're going to debunk the scare tactics that people try to put on us, like, oh, when you get older, who's going to take care of you? Yeah, we're going to talk about that, and we have proof of people who has gotten older and they don't regret their decision. And I love looking up to these type of women, to these type of men even, who actually gets older and they choose to stand on their decision of not having kids. Now we're also going to talk about um, the fact that even though we don't want to have kids, it's because we know we have things that we need to work on, and we would actually be even better parents than our parents. We would be better parents in the older generation because we know that it's not just about the money. We know it's not just about raising a kid. No, because that kid is going to turn into a human being. That kid is going to have their own, autonomy, their own thinking. That's a person that we're raising, and we want to be the best version of ourselves so we can have to give to that child, right? Cool. We're also going to take a look at mothers who come online and say this shit is hard. Okay, it's hard. I cannot do this by myself, especially as a black woman. We tend to have the raw end of the stick, of course, being single mothers, being, baby mamas, as they call it, and, getting the raw end of the stick with the men in our community. It's tough all the way around for everybody, but we know certain demographics have it even worse, right? So we're going to tackle a few things in this video. So let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay. The first thing is we just don't want to. We don't want to. We don't want to have kids because we like having our own time, right? We had boomers complain to us for years and years. They scared us into not having kids, right? From having certain type of TV shows, like I think I remember one that was like 16 and pregnant, or no, the American Life of a Pregnant Teenager or something like that. I'll put it up if I find it, right? And then we have a lot of different type of scare tactics that the older generation did, our parents did, right, to keep us from having kids. And they didn't realize it. They were saying, oh, don't get pregnant too young, don't get pregnant too young. That we have people in their 30s afraid of having teenage pregnancy. It's your fault. But also, you guys complain about us so much. You are saying how hard it is to raise us, how hard it is to have time for yourself, and we don't want to be like you. We don't. So that's the main thing. We just don't want to be like you guys. We want our free time. We want the money that we make to be ours. We want to enjoy not doing anything. We don't want to have to wake up super early. It has been normalized to wake up super early to take care of our entire family, like three, four people, including a man, okay, who can barely take care of himself, and then having to take care of ourselves. Sometimes we're left out. And then that's before we go to work, to a job that we probably don't even want to do, to come back to do it all over again. I beg you, please. We don't want to do it. That's the first thing. And honestly, I don't blame us. I don't blame us. I blame y'all because y'all complain so much about having kids that we just don't want to deal with it.
It's 12:30. You wanna know where I'm at? In the bed! Cause I ain't got no kids. I ain't have to get up and make breakfast. The only ass I had to worry about wiping was my own. You wanna know why? Because I don't have no kids. Guess what? If I wanted to go get a fofo right now, I can have all my nuggets to myself. I don't have to worry about hearing chicken nugget. I don't have to hear none of that. You wanna know why? Because I ain't got no kids.
Okay, so the next thing is the fact that the older generation like to tell us, well, who's going to take care of you? Not just the older generation, but I would say some parents who know for a fact that they actually regret having children, but misery loves company. So they're going to tell you, well, you never truly know love until you have a kid. That's kind of fucking sad. If you've never known love and you thought that a little human being, which is a mini version of yourself, is being forced to love you, that's the only time you feel like you've experienced true love. That's weird. Because when you say it's true love, well, it's definitely conditional because you have to give everything up for that said child. For them to love you for a few years, because once they're teenagers, they hate you. And once they get older, they actually realize that you give them the bare minimum and you were not healed. You put all that burden of loving you on them and they resent you for it. Now they have to go to therapy to learn how to love themselves before they have kids so that they don't end up being like you and having kids and doing the whole cycle again. I have a few videos of a few women that I found that actually talked about what it's like remaining being child free, right? They're older and they talk about the accomplishments that they've actually had. And also, get a goddamn 401k. A child should not be your retirement plan. We talk about this all the time, but do you know the amount of people that complain about their paycheck? In the paycheck is literally taking taxes out, and some of them don't even take out 401ks. I was that person. I had no money contributing to my 401k, and I could barely pay my bills. So I know there's people who don't put anything in their 401k and they're struggling. And I want to know if you really think that having a child should be your 401k plan when you can barely put some money in your 401k. It doesn't make any sense. That's cheaper. All you have to do is keep a job. Even if you change jobs, that you just have to keep a job. You just have to work. You can even be an entrepreneur and still put money in a 401k. Why does a human being have to be your retirement plan? Oh, well, who's going to wipe your butt when you're older? When you get older, you can't drive. Who's going to drive you? My 401k is going to drive me. I'm going to pull out of that and pay people to drive me. I used to be, well, I still am, a home health aide. I took a CNA class, but I didn't pass the physical, only the writing. And, but I still got my HHA certification, home health aide certification. So I took care of people, and I actually recently worked with a hospice patient. She wasn't hospice, she was totally fine, just came from a vacation, right? She was traveling, doing good, she loved life. And to the end where she finally, did chemo and it didn't work out, and she was in hospice and she passed away. I was taking care of her when she has kids literally everywhere. New York, um, Israel, and one that lives like down in Miami. So that was like the one that came over more often, that took over certain things. That was her biological child. The other ones were stepkids. They still got somebody to take care of her. They were alive and they still got somebody to take care of her. And when she was still herself, she was giving things away to them and, making sure her will is okay. Like, that's what it means when you are supposed to get your life together, get a job, because majority of the time I slept with her. I was on that couch making sure that, okay, I'm staying awake. If she needs anything, I'm running to her needs. Like, the kids are not doing that. And even when the daughter came over, I'm making this video long. The daughter came over and she was sleeping. She was sleeping, she was snoring. I was sitting up taking care of her mother. Y'all are full of shit. Talk about who's gonna take care of you, who's gonna drive you around. It was the two of us. The morning person was driving her around, was helping her doing the grocery shopping until she couldn't anymore. That went and did it for her. y'all are full of shit. Because now you have somebody that's struggling to live their own lives, to take care of themselves, and they have you as a fucking burden to take care of. I'm gonna stop renting because I could make this video a year long.
If you don't have any children, remain child free. This message is for my young women who want to do XYZ, whatever it is, but especially for my young women who, like myself at a very young age, I would say 8, knew that they did not want to have children. I have never wanted to have children, therefore I am child free. I have traveled this world, am about to travel this world yet again. I'll tell you more about that later, but please do not be pressured by society to give birth to children in some way to, carry on legacy or, who's going to take care of you when you get older, because there are plenty of parents today who do not have any really solid relationships with their children, and therefore no one will be taking care of them, so to speak, when they get old. Remain child free. Live your beautiful life.
I remember when that question was asked when I was 34.
Yeah.
And it was the only time I thought to myself, can't wait to be older to answer this question. I just know I'm going to be able to say that it's a bunch of bullshit. So now I'm telling you it's a bunch of bullshit.
Yes.
It's a bunch of bullshit. And me having friends with children and grandchildren, the sadness, the disappointments, the expectations not met. My dearest friend just died. I was with her for the last 7 months. She's a mom of 2. I think they visited once. They live in the neighborhood.
Wow.
It was her friends who fed her, who held her, who cried with her, who brought her food, who massaged her, who put, a cream on her, who decorated the room. The nurses came in and said, "This is hospice. We have never seen a room like this, and we have never seen so many people coming and going. Why? Does she have a large family? No, she has friends.
Wow.
Make friends. They're the answer. And younger, too."
Okay, so the next thing is the economy. We all know that the economy is bad, but we're not really acknowledging how bad it is, in my opinion. Because yes, we keep saying, "Oh, it's bad, we can't get jobs. Oh, it's bad, people can't live." I signed my life away to the military. Granted, a lot of people do that when they have kids because it's like, you know what, I have to do it for my kids. I have to do what's best for my family. I get that. I feel like for me, I was able to make such a decision because I know I can be uncomfortable and sacrifice for years so I can live the rest of my life comfortably, right? I know my plans are, to go to school and making sure that I have my credit. I'll be debt free within the first year. I already have my plans and my goals. And it's like more and more people are going that route. And I never thought in a million billion years that me, somebody who has their own type of view around this administration, would join the fucking army under this administration. So it's like you sacrifice for yourself. And when you have kids, you have to sacrifice for your kids. So I don't know. I just feel like I don't know how people are doing it. When I was working my 9 to 5, at this I forgot what it's called, but it was very hard for me, single. And I'm thinking, you got 3 kids? How are you doing this if you got 3 kids? This check, you raising 3 kids on this check. It was like my mind could not process it because I'm like, I want to go out this weekend, but I can't because I have to be a responsible adult and wait until my next check if I want to go out for a drink that's gonna cost me $20 fucking dollars. And I have to make sure I have gas in my car to go. Yo, I'm like, how are you doing this? How? Props to you. Like, you are a fucking warrior, But the economy is bad. I'm back. This is my old room. My mom redecorated this room. when I moved out, but this is my old room. I'm back at my mother's house. I'm waiting out my time here until I go to basic training. A lot of people are moving back home. You know what I mean? So shit is difficult, and I just Gen Z understands that shit is hard. And why are you forcing us to have kids in such a shitty economy that boomers and millennials left us with? Like, come on. You can't be serious.
My son is 22 and he can't afford to live anywhere except home. He is in that generation where him and his girlfriend, they work full time. They make a decent wage together and they can't afford to get even a studio up here in New England. We renovated my garage into a apartment with the help of my family. So I don't have a garage anymore and I don't care. Even though I live in New England, you'd think you probably need a garage because of the snow. I could give two shits. Rather have my son and his girlfriend live out there and be able to save money to try to get a place down the road. Sometimes on Sunday mornings, I surprise them and I do their laundry. And before you come into my comments and say my kid would kill me if I ever did his laundry, or my son's girlfriend would hate me if I ever did the laundry, they bring their baskets inside the house. We'll make a little comment to kind of remind me that the basket is down there, because I know this helps them out big time, and they both have thanked me for doing it. And I'm not a helicopter parent. I barely ever see my kid. I'm just helping them out on a Sunday because they're busy. That's all. My son's girlfriend, I adore her. She's like a little emo girl, and this is one of her skirts. I'm at a weird point in my life where I'm kind of in the middle between, I raised my kids. They still need me, but not as much. They still want my advice, but not often. Raising kids is a series of goodbyes. And it really is. When they start, when they start crawling, when they start walking, when they ride a bike, when they get on the bus for the first time, when they go to first grade for the first time, when they go to college or they get their first job. I have no idea what this is. When you have your babies in your arms, you can't imagine them going off to school. It's like you could cry over it because you want them to stay little forever. But I think that's why people age slowly, so that when they finally leave, you're ready. And if you're like me, your kids haven't left anyway.
The economy is so bad, even the rich people are losing their jobs. One of my wealthy clients lost his job 2 weeks ago. It sucks too, because on a personal, kind of selfish level, I was about to sell a project to him that was gonna make me $15,000. So I'm like, man, hey, how's it going? What's up? And I was waiting on it because it was gonna make me some money, right? But this guy I've built a relationship with, he kind of understands my business model, what I'm trying to do. He's like, man, you're gonna make it one day. I like what you're talking about. He's like, but it's hard running a business. He said, I used to run a landscaping business, and eventually I gave it up. And, I started working office job, and I get that you don't like office jobs. I was telling him, I can't do office jobs no more. I hate the stupid meetings. I hate the hierarchy. I hate going into the office. I hate all of it. He's like, man, I get it. But he's like, just hear me out. He's like, just, you have an engineering degree, go back to the office. You could work a job, after a few years and you raise up the ranks a bit, you won't have to be in the office as much. You might be able to be a little bit hybrid. Look at me. I don't go in all the time. And, I'm making very good money right now. I'm he's probably around the 200K mark. So I hit him up, and because I've been following up for about a month and a half now, because he's like, I want to do this. I need to do this. He owns a fourplex. So it's a nice fourplex in the South Bay in California Bay Area. So it's bringing in money. And I'm like, hey, so what's the most recent update? He's like, man, I got laid off. I was like, I felt bad for him. I also felt bad for me. But think about that. He was telling me, oh, yeah, you basically conform. Whole time I'm telling him, no, you got to have a business because you need a backup. The economy is bad. You cannot purely rely on just having a job.
You know what also doesn't make a woman want to have a baby? War. Up until now, June 2025, it was the economy, because it's just so hard to feed yourself, let alone bring a brand new beautiful life into this world. Even if you want to, you're gonna have to think twice. But a war? And it's weird because a lot of people voted for this man because of the economy, yet he has done nothing but trample on it. And his comments are so reckless and so inflammatory that I could see if he single-handedly exacerbates the situation, that brings us into a conflict with a significant part of the world. And if you think regular inflation is bad, wartime inflation, look it up on how the world was going to hell inflation-wise come World War II time. So baby, them Republicans talking about some, oh, we'll give you $5,000 and you'll get a mommy cup if you have 10. This is backfiring. You think you need bodies for labor and you want them real bad? Go ahead and have this war and see how you're not going to get the bodies from the women, and you gonna get rid of the bodies that are here statistically.
Economists are panicking because millennials and Gen Z choosing not to have kids could hurt the economy. In fact, if enough millennials don't have kids, then GDP could fall by double the amount that it's supposed to grow. They're looking for the next generation of workers and consumers to grow the economy. The birth rate in this country has dropped by more than half since 60 years ago in the 1960s. But no matter the drop in birth rate, millennials and Gen Z are simply not interested in having children. Outrageously expensive childcare, sky-high groceries, and a ridiculous housing market don't exactly make millennials excited about having kids. But the biggest reason millennials and Gen Z are rejecting having kids is because they simply do not want to. They are prioritizing other things and their quality of life. Watching their parents struggle to raise them has broken a lot of millennials and Gen Z, and they do not want to go through the same struggle or worse, given the state of the economy right now. The declining birth rate will be a larger and larger concern for officials and economists. No matter how much they worry, though, it's going to be a difficult problem to solve. Every other area in the world that has had a severe drop in birth rate has had great difficulty convincing people to have a lot more babies again. Just watch a special economic episode of the D3 List, a podcast about dumb, desperate, and diabolical business decisions.
Okay, so one thing I'm also realizing is that we never had the option to exercise this freedom that we are now having, right? Choosing not to have kids is something that was out of the norm back then. You get with a man for survival and you have his freaking kids because he wants to continue his legacy, and you have no choice because you need a bed and food to eat. So you exchange your entire life, your entire youth, all your years for bed and food. You become a home hooker, at-home hooker, or at-home sex toy, an incubator, child breathing machine. Is that even a word? Baby making machine, same thing. And yeah, we didn't have a choice, and I'm just happy that women are exercising that right. It's going to get even harder. It already is. That now they're saying you don't get the luxury of X amount of months to really truly make that decision. You only get 6 weeks. Yeah, you only get 6 weeks. Other than that, you can't. It's illegal to remove the child, etc. So that's not going to help the situation, and Gen Z understand that, and they're saying, hell no. I've been celibate for a while and I really enjoy it. I really love it. And you can convince me to have a man touch me right now. It's just, yeah, no. And I already know I don't want kids, so when I get into military, I do plan on getting my tubes tied. So yeah.
Child-free women are becoming a threat to the society because when a woman no longer chooses marriage, being a wife, or selfless motherhood as the purpose of a life, instead she's focusing on herself, putting herself first, you are becoming a threat to the very system that's oppressing you. Because patriarchy and capitalism has been benefiting so much from women's sacrifice, silence, and suffering. And all of a sudden, you're not playing their games. So who's gonna give birth to more cheap laborers to keep the rich richer? How dare you? And also, a child-free woman is going to put up with a lot less bullshit than women with kids does. Imagine this, you're a working mom, your boss treats you like shit, there ain't no much benefits for you, but you can't leave because you got babies to feed. Now compare that to child-free women. She can look in the manager's eyes and say F you and leave today because she ain't got nobody to take care of except for herself. A child-free woman is a woke woman, and she's not controllable or governable, and they don't like that.
Propaganda I will never fall for is that being a working parent is normal. Like, it has been normalized, but this mess is not normal. It is not normal to have to wake up like 3 hours before the general population to get you and 4 other people dressed, or however many other people in your house dressed, make sure they have lunch, transport them to multiple places, and then go to your actual place of business where you're supposed to work after you've already done basically a part-time job before you got there. And then once you do get there, while you are focused on work, in the back of your mind, you're worried about somebody who had a slight cough this morning, or there's a doctor's appointment tomorrow, or when was the last time you checked their teacher portal to see what their grades are. And then if you get calls from mysterious numbers throughout the day, is it about your kids or not? And then making sure in the back of your mind that the one meeting that you have, the schedule during the time that you usually drive to go get your kids, but somebody scheduled it anyway, that you make that and still get to your kids on time, but you know that there's an area on the way where you lose service, and you hope you don't have to talk in the meeting during that time, because you always seem to happen to for some crazy reason. Then after you work the whole day, maybe there was no kid issues, even you come home, you still got to figure out how to feed everybody, how to be a person, ask everybody how their day was, be emotionally available, and then also be, astute enough to be looking for any signs, because you have kids, who knows what's going on that they're not even telling you about. And if you don't ask the right questions, you won't even know. Are they being bullied? Are they bullying somebody else? Are they having any sort of psychological kid-related hormonal issues? Make sure you don't fall asleep or zone out for that. Don't mind you how many cups of coffee you had a day. At this point, maybe 2, and you're thinking about a 3rd, because you still have to put everybody to bed, clean up after them, and then you have a mere, 2 to 3 hour window where you should be getting ready to go to bed and winding down, but then you didn't get to do anything for yourself today. You didn't get to schedule any of the appointments because you had to work during the times when you're supposed to be scheduling appointments, and you also kind of wanted to play Fortnite a little bit. And if you do that, you're definitely going to wake up, you're going to go to sleep super late, which means you're going to wake up super late. By the way, you haven't even put in a load of laundry, and you have 3 baskets of laundry waiting for you already that you haven't even touched in a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, if we're being really honest. It could be longer if we're being extremely honest. And then you have Saturday and Sunday at least to take a break. But oh, by the way, you still got to get groceries, manage the laundry, anything for the house that's not done, you need to get done. You actually want to spend time with your kids, and you'd actually like to rest, but that's just too bad because you only have 2 days and it's not enough time. This crap is not normal. I don't care. I don't care. Yes, people do it. Yes, it's your choice if you want to work or not, sort of. And where you work is also sort of your choice. I'm not saying that there should be special accommodations for parents, but I am saying that this is not normal. I don't care how long people have been doing it. I don't care what ways they've been doing it. It is mental gymnastics trying to parent and work a full-time job, even if you have a partner, which I do, and they're great, which mine is. You can still have a really tough time. I can't imagine for single parents or people who are also managing caregiving children or other adults with either any sort of ability related needs or age related issues or mental health issues. I don't know how y'all are doing it either. Not to mention if you yourself have, in my case, a chronic illness on top of all of whatever else you have going on. I just don't think it's normal, and it doesn't get any easier. And I feel like you always get hit with the people, when you're talking about being a working parent, you get hit with the people who were working parents before, and they're like, oh, well, I just didn't work during the time when my kids were young. Everybody can't do that. Or you get the people that are like, wow, I didn't even know you have kids, because everything that is just so wonderful that you do, and you never really seem to have any conflicts and all this other stuff, it's like they're not even there, which is sort of what you used to want at work, I think. But now it's kind of problematic because it's no, literally I'm running on my last thread of the last strand of my sanity, trying to do everything I need to do for everyone. I'm glad to you it looks like nothing is happening. Maybe the porcelain cracks are too thin. I don't know. I feel like I have to make a video like this every so often just to remind myself and everybody else, yes, we're doing it. We might be doing it really well. Everybody in our life might be healthy. We might be healthy, but maybe sometimes you're not. And that is normal. It's not normal. There's too much to do. There's not enough time to rest. And you feel like you have, I don't know, maybe it's the millennial parent in me, but you have a whole person's life in your hands, raising them to be a decent person. That's a big responsibility. People I know people look at having kids and they think oh wow, look at those people raising kids. It's a lot of work to drag them around and pay for stuff and da-da-da. And that part is, but the part that people never talk about is but we're raising human beings to be better than the current human beings that we all are. That's what our job is. And that's a lot of work on top of working another job. Anyways, good morning.
Nobody talks about the amount of times as a fucking mom that you sit in the fucking car and just cry, bro. You just fucking cry. Even when you know your tears not gonna fix shit.
Love my kid. fucking hate being a mom. I fucking hate being a parent. Like, I fucking hate it. And I feel bad for saying that, but like, I wish someone would have let people with BPD know that like we really shouldn't be moms. Like, having a kid is too fucking complicated. I don't want to do it. Like, I don't want to be responsible for this tiny human. I just want to be responsible for myself, and it's too late now. I didn't know parenthood was going to be like this. I didn't know I was going to be doing it all by myself with no support system, no family, no anything. I didn't know. If I would have known, I would have never done it.
So if you're watching this clip, you probably had two reactions, and more than two, but the main ones, right? You probably had no sympathy for her. You're probably like, listen, she had 9 months. She had time to decide if she was going to have this baby or not. And now she's crying about it because, being a parent is tough and she acting like she didn't know, right? That's probably one of y'all's reactions. Other reactions could be empathy, right? Understanding where she's coming from. Don't even mean that you have to agree or feel like I felt that way before, but it's like I see how she could feel that way, right, as a mom. But whatever your reaction is, it doesn't change the fact that this is the reality for a lot of mothers, unfortunately. And it's not something that's talked about. And when it is talked about, it's always black and white. There's never a gray area. There's never an in-between. It's either she knew what she was doing or damn, I feel for her, right? But I think what people aren't taking into account is key things that she said. First of all, she said that she had BPD. If you don't know what that is, that's borderline personality disorder, okay? It's also just being emotionally unstable, meaning 1 minute she probably did think this was a great idea, right? But now knowing that she has unstable emotions where she has a higher prevalence of depression and anxiety, right? Now the baby is here, that's out the window, right? But we don't think about mothers who have mental health disabilities or mental health disorders undiagnosed. A lot of it isn't undiagnosed. And they're out here having children, and it is hard. It's hard, right? Another thing she said was she didn't know she would be doing it alone without any supports. Nobody thinks about that, okay? Nobody thinks about the fact that a lot of women are talked into having kids, okay? And when shit hits the fan, no one's there to help. She has no support. So it's like at the baby shower, she had all this support, everybody eating up the food, everybody buying stuff. But then once the baby's here, that's it. No one's thinking about those key things, right? Gray area. That's the gray area with what she's talking about. So I just send her a lot of love and energy because it is hard. And I applaud her for putting herself out there like that.
The idea of being pregnant just seems really embarrassing to me. This is not me giving advice. This is just my unsolicited opinion. But ideally, I'd be expected to walk around and everyone's going to know that this man that's next to me did this to me. Something about that is just, I don't like it. Because I know there is a kink community of men who find women more attractive when they are pregnant. And I just can't imagine walking around with the life growing inside of me and having another man imagining what position this was done to me in. That just blows me. Like everyone's gonna know, oh my God, wow. Like not only did I have sex, but I let a man ejaculate inside of me. You guys are strong. It seems like a form of public humiliation. I might be exaggerating. Could be the one. And then the idea of people wanting to come rub my belly, story time. I already don't like people touching me. I was going for a hot girl walk in my neighborhood and this guy saw me. He asked me for my Instagram. I said I don't have Instagram because I don't. My Instagram is for people I know. It's very small, very private. Anyways, he asked me for my TikTok. I said, okay. I mean, I just gave him my TikTok. I kind of gave the impression that I wasn't interested in anything. Friendship, as they say. No. But at the end of that conversation, he asked to shake my hand and I was like, no, thank you. And he kind of was like, what do you mean, no, thank you? He didn't say that, but that's what his face gave. If we were in a professional setting, I understand the expectation of shaking hands to establish respect, whatever. We're not establishing anything here, so why touch me? No. Just a random man on the street, why am I gonna shake your hand? We haven't done no business together. We're not going to. All of that to say, if this is how I act with just a handshake, someone asking if they could touch my belly, oh, I'm gonna have a time if I get there. I don't know, but that's the end of my rant.
Of being pregnant, let's talk about it. So this is not
not just an irrational fear, this is a phobia. Like, it literally makes my skin recoil thinking about it. There is a technical term for this, and I believe it's called tocophobia. Not 100% sure, don't quote me on that. Now, this doesn't apply to other people. Like, this just applies to me. I think women with bumps who like show them off are so cute. I literally think pregnant women are adorable. But I think it freaks me out personally. Like, the thought of me being pregnant, ugh, it literally makes me retch. Ever since I was a kid, I just told my mom, like, I'm not gonna have kids. I don't want children. Ever since I was like 13 years old, I told my mom this specifically. And I'm 25 now. It's still true. Like, I don't want children. It freaks me out. I have these reoccurring nightmares where I suddenly just get pregnant. Like, it's like a Jesus baby where it just like appears, you know what I mean? I just have a stomach suddenly, and everyone's like touching my stomach in these dreams, and I'm like always looking down like, oh my God, how did this happen? Like, I don't want this. Freaking out, and it literally freaks, like, it makes my skin recoil thinking about it. It's oh my God, it's so creepy, the thought of it. And I know pregnancy and like childbirth, it's beautiful and it's magical, and women are able to bring the gift of like a human life into this world, which is insane. The actual concept of like childbirth and like a child being created within a woman and a womb is very special, very sacred. Would never take away from that. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I think women should be on a pedestal because we can do that. Men can't do that. Women can do that. But me personally, I don't want children. I don't want to be pregnant. It freaks me out. I don't know if anyone else relates to this. This is probably like a really niche thing.
So thank you so much for making it this far into the video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on this video. If you're a boomer, if you're a millennial, a Gen Z, what did I miss? And thank you so much for all your beautiful comments. Thank you so much for your super thanks, your gifts. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.